What is going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday to every single one of you, and big up to the DXB VIP Discord community, because last night I went absolutely ballistic and shared Alex Becker's some of his holdings, of course, and I'm profiling more courtesy of my partnership with Nansen.ai, the best by far intelligence tool and probably your biggest investment that you can ever do for yourself. Links are in the description. You do get a special VIP DXB crypto discount. And of course, I will talk about this more in the Discord in the VIP section. Look at the smart money stuff that I've shared. Look at my stablecoins report using Nansen, which was deployment of stablecoins into certain cryptocurrency. Of course, here I track all the money flow. And of course, you can see here stuff like volume, of course, trades. And most importantly, my favorite metric of all is the inflows tab. Because the higher the inflow, you know where the smart money is going, follow the money. Of course, the higher the outflow, the more of that project being dumped over here. You've got equal buys and equal sells. And I also tend to pick out when a project is using a bot. In this particular case, when you start to understand where the project is going, and of course what the outflows are and the net inflows. So yeah, Nansen is very important for me. Of course, as always, you can see here Altcoin had an inflow. Let's put the inflows over here. Yeah, it had a negative inflow, right? Whereas over here, what we have is, let's check another coin here. You got Chainlink over here, which had a 300K inflow in the past 24 hours, 384K inflow. So you can see where the smart money is going, guys. Join our community. I'll do all of this research and analysis for you just for $9 a month. Join our group, join our VIP group, and let's get on with it. So guys, we are coming to the business end of the season, and you want to know, DXB, what do we do from here? Well, there are ideas out there potentially for a Bitcoin downward correction down to 116. Listen, that's healthy for us. That is healthy for us. There are those calling for 50% correction. So from 120 to, let's say, 60,000. I don't see that happening. But if it does, you never know. Things could be in a deep bear market. But that will not happen until we get this explosive phase of the bull market that we've been waiting for well over 4 years. So what's the strategy? Well, the strategy is very simple. Bitcoin corrects. Of course, we are seeing the resistance over here. And this is a downward wedge, right? Sellers are actively putting this resistance up here. And of course, we are now in these zones. So look, at the end of the day, we will see what we're made of once we start to break above the current resistance, of course, and that resistance now sits at 119,500. But overall, DXB, what is your expectation? So let me first of all give you the macro update. Okay, the macro watch for me has made massive differences to the way I invest and my emotional reaction. So let me give you the key catalyst for the timeline. So guys, the next Fed meeting is in 6 weeks or so from now, right? Let's say a month from now. Between now and the next Fed meeting, we have 2 job reports and 2 inflation reports. The first of those job reports, NFP data coming out today. These are 4 critical data points that will share how the Fed pivots. And of course, they will take the entire summer to weigh their options and moves carefully. Trump, by slagging off the man himself, Jay Powell, doesn't really help that situation. I think he becomes more entrenched, and it is natural human thing. It doesn't matter if he's the head of the Fed. It's natural to defend yourself. And you're starting to see cracks. I've talked about Fed Waller, probably the most out of anyone on the internet since January, right? Since we knew, Trump was coming to coming to office. Of course, Fed Waller is very, very dovish. He's very close to the administration, and he is already voiced his concerns. Last Fed meeting, prior to the last Fed meeting, he said we should cut rates gradually and start from July. Okay, so there are those things happening, but all you care about is 4 critical data points that will lead to the Fed pivot or lack of, and of course, end of QT as we know it, and all you need to do is stay patient at this point of the cycle, right? Now, PCE data came in, of course, and not what the Fed wants to see. We knew that inflation was going to be hot anyway, based on the tariffs. Stock market earnings for giants like Microsoft and Meta crash expectations, and unemployment continues to be solid. Now, how do I know the NFP data today is going to be not such a great one for the markets? Because we already have the previous data that I shared with you a couple of days ago that indicated that the labor market is still relatively strong compared to where they want. So what's my take? October, November historically has been the strongest of the 4 years macro cycle. Facts. Looking ahead, post-halving summers tend to bring strong rallies. July, we've just delivered, historic bullish action. August often follows, but September historically is red, which means if we continue to push hard, then we may see a cool off at the end of August. And of course, real fireworks starts towards the winter months. And that's still my thesis. So any correction you see now within the markets, for me, is not too bad at all. Okay? Not too bad at all. So stick to your plan. Again, you have to have an exit timeline. I would say a lot of the expectations, because of the fact that a lot of people hold microcaps, will have to change. But what I would say is I am prepared to take 5x's, 10x's off the table, rotate into things that haven't pumped. Very, very easy, very straightforward to do, because it is easy to rotate from a micro cap that pumps into a large cap than it is to rotate from a large cap into a micro cap, which is the logic, right? But again, you increase your risk. So you got to be very careful. So a project that you can keep your eye on, because they're doing all of these mind share, all of these, this is very important. This is going to be the social fi economy, right? And Cato is a decisive player in that. Now, tokenomics are not great, but what I'm expecting is I'm highlighting few mid caps, few kind of relatively safe, but projects that are likely to pump post, large caps moving, then I can rotate into those. It's just one of the ideas. But Cato is one that you need to watch purely because, tokenomics are not great, but with Base being so pivotal, I think if this becomes a late mover in the market, and let's say you secured a 5x or 10x from, I don't know, a Say or a Sui or whatever, you start to look at your bags and start to pick things that will help you gain more money in the market. And it's same for large caps as well. Okay, same for large caps as well. So I will continue to analyze these money flows. I will continue to share them in the DXB Discord, but understand where I'm going with this. Identify 1 or 2 plays that haven't pumped, right? Like, for example, another one would be if ATH or DEPIN starts making a move, and I made, let's say, a 5x on Say, and this hasn't moved yet, I can always rotate into something that I know is above 100 million market cap, and then potentially get another 5x, 3x from there. But we're gonna have to be active from here to the end of the cycle. Cycle top, I'll say, still gonna be for me 2025. I would like to fully exit crypto in 2025, but we need to roll with the punches. Okay. So guys, I hope you like this video. This video is more helpful to you than anybody coming on here and shouting about any individual coin. You already know my coins: Kaspa, Layer 1, Sui, Say, Sonic, Arweave, and then of course we've got the likes of P, Kai, Alf for small Layer 1s. AI, we've got the likes of Tau, Cookie, AO the Computer, aitech, and Noise, which is social fi on Base. Gaming, Beam, Prime, Moon Tropica, and of course Mavia, and then of course I did add a little bit to my RWA projects, and the project that I've added is props, because I think props will do rather well. Still at the micro cap level, and then of course DeFi. It's always been Aero, Cetus, Bluefin, and Navi Protocol. Potentially Scallop. Maybe I'll consolidate these three into one. I haven't decided yet. Then of course you've got memes, Cocoro, Lofi, Toshi, Foxy, CoinW, of course, and Jojo right there. I do have another VIP meme coming up, but that hasn't changed. I will add, of course, to the periphery of these. I will trade in the periphery of these, but overall, I'm mentally stable enough not to think about the emotions, but take advantage of this type of analysis, this data that I'm giving you, right? No one's actually giving you the breakdown between the macro in the next 6 weeks. So that's what I'm doing. That's my lane. I'm telling you how I'm going to rotate. And in the meantime, for the community, I'm going to keep telling them when money flow, smart money buys and sells, when, let's say, influencers like Becca buys a new token, all of that stuff now I'm tracking courtesy of Nansen.ai. Guys, take advantage of this incredible offer. Links in the description. Join the VIP, join Nansen, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know your thoughts, guys. This is a pretty good video in my opinion, but I would love to hear from you, and I'll catch you on the next one.